One day your doctor looks up from a lab report and says, "Your creatinine is rising." You nod politely, not realizing what that simple sentence can mean for your future. Weeks pass. Your ankles puff by evening. Your body feels heavier than it used to, and sleeping straight through the night becomes a chore. Even the fruit you've always considered healthy suddenly raises questions. None of this is random. It's the quiet story of toxins accumulating in the bloodstream when kidney filtration falls behind, and it often unfolds so gradually that people miss the early signals. Here's the hopeful part. Your kidneys are remarkably adaptive. With the right daily choices, especially in the hours before bed, you can reduce strain, support natural detoxification, and help bring creatinine down over time under your clinician's guidance. Creatinine itself isn't the enemy. It's a marker. Every time muscles contract, even during ordinary activities like walking to the mailbox or climbing a single flight of stairs, your body produces creatinine as a normal waste product. Healthy kidneys filter it out efficiently and keep blood levels within range. When kidney function declines, that clearance slows. Creatinine creeps upward, not because you did anything wrong, but because the delicate filters inside the kidney, the nephrons, are under stress. The first clues are subtle: a little ankle swelling, a vague sense of fatigue, foods tasting off, nighttime trips to the bathroom. Too often, these whispers are dismissed until a lab value tells a louder story. The message today is that the situation is not fixed or inevitable. Lifestyle, hydration, medication adherence, and smart nutrition all influence how hard the kidneys have to work. Among these, evening food choices play an overlooked role because your kidneys never clock out. While you sleep, they continue filtering, repairing, and balancing electrolytes. Give them gentler inputs at night, and you give them a better shift. To choose wisely, it helps to understand two minerals that flip from helpful to hazardous when the kidneys struggle: potassium and phosphorus. In a healthy system, surplus potassium is excreted and phosphorus is tightly regulated, but impaired kidneys let those balances drift. Elevated potassium can disturb the heart's electrical rhythm. Elevated phosphorus can stress blood vessels and bones and contribute to further kidney burden over time. That doesn't mean avoid all minerals. It means be strategic, especially with fruit. Many fruits are packed with vitamins, fiber, and protective plant compounds, but some are also dense in potassium or added sugars, in juices or dried forms. When kidney function is reduced or potassium runs high on your labs, the safest evening fruits are those that stay modest in potassium and phosphorus, deliver antioxidants to cool inflammation, and offer fiber to bind waste in the gut, so less recirculates back to the bloodstream. Sugar is the other hidden accelerator. Even natural sugars in fruit can spike blood glucose when portion sizes balloon or fiber is stripped away, as happens in juices. Repeated glucose spikes and insulin surges stoke inflammation and oxidative stress in the tiny kidney filters, adding micro-injuries that heal poorly when filtration is already compromised. That's why whole fruit beats juice, smaller servings beat large bowls, and pairing fruit with fiber or protein can soften glucose swings. If you live with diabetes or prediabetes, a leading driver of chronic kidney disease, these details matter even more. Evening choices that keep blood sugar and insulin calmer set up a gentler night for your kidneys. There's also the human side. Kidney disease is medically complex and emotionally draining. Clinic visits take time, lab results create anxiety, and the word dialysis can feel like a door closing on freedom. Yet for many people, a consistent routine of evidence-informed nutrition, movement, blood pressure control, glucose management, smoking cessation, and medication adherence slows progression substantially. Food is not a magic cure, but it is a daily lever. Used repeatedly, it compounds. With that context, let's talk about 4 fruits that are generally kidney-friendly in appropriate portions, especially in the evening, and how to use them in real life if your healthcare professional agrees they fit your labs and plan. Start with apples, the uncomplicated helper most of us overlook. A medium apple tends to sit in a kidney-friendly potassium range for many people, and it carries pectin, a soluble fiber that acts like a sponge in the gut. Pectin binds certain compounds, including some that would otherwise be reabsorbed, and carries them out through the stool. Less reabsorption means less work for your kidneys later. The peel is a goldmine of phytonutrients, so keep it on if your digestion allows. Apples also have a low to moderate glycemic impact compared with many sweet snacks, and that steadier glucose curve supports vascular health upstream of the kidneys. In practice, an evening apple, sliced with a sprinkle of cinnamon or stirred into warm oats, gives gentle hydration, fiber, and antioxidants without flooding your system with potassium or sugar. If you're sensitive to raw peel, stewing the apple softens the texture and preserves much of the benefit. Next, blueberries, the tiny powerhouses that punch far above their size. Half a cup delivers modest potassium and phosphorus, but an impressive dose of anthocyanins, the pigments that give blueberries their deep blue color. These compounds help neutralize oxidative stress and support endothelial function, which matters because the kidneys are dense with small blood vessels that depend on healthy vascular signaling. Blueberries have also been linked to more graceful glucose handling when eaten regularly, a win for anyone managing insulin resistance. Fresh or frozen both work. Freezing preserves most nutrients and extends access through the seasons. One simple bedtime option is a half cup of frozen blueberries blended with unsweetened almond milk and a dusting of cinnamon. You get a cool, soothing snack with fiber still intact, not a sugar concentrate. Third, red or purple grapes, not green, because the darker varieties contain more resveratrol and related polyphenols in their skins. These compounds have been studied for their roles in dampening inflammatory signaling and supporting cellular housekeeping pathways. Grapes do contain natural sugars, so portions matter even more here. A small handful, roughly half a cup, 2 or 3 evenings per week fits better than a large, nightly bowl. Chew slowly and skip juice. Whole grapes deliver fiber and slow the absorption curve. Juice removes the brakes and asks more of your pancreas and kidneys. Many people like to freeze grapes for a sorbet-like texture that satisfies the urge for dessert without the blood sugar rush of ice cream. Finally, fresh pineapple, the pleasant surprise on most kidney-friendly lists. Compared with some other tropical fruits, pineapple often lands in a modest potassium range per serving, and it brings vitamin C plus bromelain, an enzyme concentrated in the fibrous core. Bromelain has been explored for its effects on protein digestion and inflammatory cascades. While it's not a prescription medicine, including the core when you can tolerate it may add a little extra support. Canned pineapple is convenient, but heated processing reduces enzymatic activity, so fresh is best if your budget and access allow. A few bite-sized chunks, or a small smoothie made from fresh pineapple blended with cold water, a squeeze of lemon, and mint can be a clean, hydrating evening option. As with every fruit, the benefit lives in the portion. More is not always better. How do you use these 4 fruits without getting stuck in a rut or tipping into excess? Build a simple rotation so your kidneys see variety without overload. For example, on Monday, enjoy an apple with the peel after dinner. Tuesday, choose a half cup of blueberries as your evening snack. Wednesday, have half a cup of red or purple grapes chilled or frozen. Thursday, savor a small portion of fresh pineapple or a light pineapple mint water 1 hour before bed. Then repeat. The pattern keeps antioxidants circulating, minimizes monotony, and helps you respect portions. If you need to accommodate other medical conditions, like reflux, adjust textures and timing. Stewed apples or a small bowl of oatmeal with blueberries sit more gently than acidic choices right before lying down. Just as important as what to include is what to limit when creatinine and potassium tend to run high. Very large portions of high potassium fruits, like bananas, oranges, cantaloupe, dried apricots, and many dried fruits, can nudge potassium upward. Fruit juices concentrate sugar without fiber's breaking power. None of these are bad in absolute terms, but in impaired kidney function or documented hyperkalemia, they're not ideal evening choices unless your clinician has cleared them based on your labs. If you're unsure, ask your care team for a referral to a renal dietitian. A single session can clarify your personal potassium and phosphorus targets and translate them into a shopping list that works for your culture, budget, and kitchen. Hydration deserves a note. Kidneys like steady, not extreme. Chugging large volumes at once may provoke nocturia and dilute electrolytes unhelpfully, while chronic underhydration concentrates wastes. Sip through the day, and in the evening aim for light fluids that don't flood your system right before bed. A glass of water infused with apple slices or a sprig of mint is pleasant and kidney-friendly. If your clinician has prescribed fluid restrictions because of advanced kidney disease or heart failure, follow those instructions closely and factor fruit water into your daily tally. Because numbers guide decisions, track your progress with intention. Every few months, review creatinine, estimated glomerular filtration rate, eGFR, potassium, phosphorus, and, if relevant, a 1C or fasting glucose with your healthcare professional. Pair the labs with body signals: swelling trends, energy through the day, sleep quality, blood pressure readings at home. Look for patterns. If your potassium creeps up, revisit portions and swap a higher potassium fruit night for a lower one. If your glucose remains stubborn, pair evening fruit with a small protein source, like a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt if your plan allows, or move the serving a bit earlier after dinner when you're still upright and more insulin sensitive. Most of all, stay consistent. The kidneys didn't arrive in trouble overnight, and they won't rebound overnight, but every gentle choice moves the needle. An apple with peel instead of a glass of juice. A half cup of blueberries instead of a sugary dessert. A small handful of red grapes chewed slowly instead of a large bowl. A few chunks of fresh pineapple rather than canned syrupy rings. None of these feel dramatic in the moment, yet over weeks and months they reduce inflammatory load, smooth glucose curves, keep potassium within a safer band, and ease the nightly workload on those resilient filters. If you're hearing this after a worrisome lab result, take a breath. Rising creatinine is a signal, not a sentence. Work with your clinician on the medical plan: blood pressure control, glucose management, medication review for kidney-stressing drugs, evaluation of protein and sodium intake, and then control what you can control at home. Fill your fruit bowl with allies. Choose whole fruit over juice. Rotate, don't binge. Respect portions. Hydrate steadily, not suddenly. Sleep, move your body, and show up for follow-up labs so the plan can evolve with you. Tonight, when you look at the kitchen counter, remember that simple choices add up. Your kidneys don't rest while you sleep, but you can make their shift easier. Choose an apple with its peel. Blend a small blueberry drink with unsweetened milk. Chill a handful of red grapes. Slice fresh pineapple and include a bit of the core if you tolerate it. Tiny, repeatable actions, grounded in physiology, performed night after night. That's how healing work gets done. If this guidance resonates, share it with someone who needs practical, hopeful steps. And if you're ready to act, tell me which fruit you'll start with this evening. Your kidneys will notice the difference long before the next printout does.